Well, we made it to Indiana. We're in Dyer, or I guess it's Dyer, Dyer, Indiana. Suffered a few little traffic backups coming across on 30, but we're now into the state of Indiana, so probably just shifted time. I'm not sure when we shift time, but we're going Eastern time zone here in a little bit. And stopped on the way out of, actually coming through New Lenox, Illinois, and had me a wonderful lunch at Portillo's. I don't know if you've ever eaten at Portillo's, but if you have, you know it's mighty good. If you haven't, I'd suggest you give it a shot sometime if you get a chance. They serve a fabulous Italian beef, and they also have wonderful hot dogs and Polish sausages, or Italian sausages, they call them. But great place to eat. And by the way, they do make as good a chocolate cake as I've ever eaten. So had a great lunch. Got plenty of leftovers coming from my little sisters for dinner tonight. And looking forward to getting over to Nappanee and the tractor show. And by the way, Nappanee is up near where they make a lot of the RVs. My wife and I took a tour up there, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, maybe. Not sure when. But we toured a couple of RV manufacturers and found a few that, as a result of the tours, that would not be interested in owning. Found a few as a result of the tours that we would love to own but couldn't afford. So, it's kind of a catch-22. If you really like the product, it's probably going to be one I can't afford. So we did look and we did enjoy the tours. That's one of the things we have over the years. I don't know how many of you out there in YouTube land enjoy going out and doing factory tours, but that's one of the things my wife and I, when we travel, we always enjoyed doing factory tours, seeing how things are made. And as a result, like I say, with a couple of RV places, we realized that the quality just wasn't there. And we went to one, and I don't remember the name, but I probably wouldn't share it if I did. But I don't want to get libel suit. But we went in pretty late in the evening. Second shift had started, and the tour guide was taking us along through the end of the bays where they start the process. And there was one unit sitting there, great old big high-dollar motorhome sitting there, and one of the gentlemen on the tour said, what's with all the little pieces of tape on there? And he's, well, that's areas that they have to do a little rework on. Maybe a bad spot in the paint, or window not matching, or whatever. And the tour guy then blurted out, well, how come there's so many of them? There must have been 100, 120 little pieces of tape on there. And so we decided that the quality just wasn't there for that one. The previous tour we had taken, most of the people working were Amish. And so they were just hard at it, never let up. The other one we went to, there were very few Amish, and they were just kind of standing around talking for the most part. So, big difference in the way the manufacturers run their shops. The one that we liked the best, they bring the chassis in and they never fire up the engine again until it's ready to come out. They put it on air rollers and just slide it sideways down through the service or the maintenance manufacturing line. But we really enjoyed that. I highly recommend get an opportunity to. If you like factory tours, there's some really great ones around Elkhart with the RV manufacturers. And there's also a really neat, if you're into RVs and if you're watching this channel, you may be. There's a really neat RV museum up there that's definitely worth a tour. So, highly recommend it. As you can see, we're sitting here enjoying the traffic backup. And yeah, but there's no point in being in no hurry. Life's too short to get in a hurry. We just enjoy it. Be patient. Let folks out when you need to, as I just did. Be courteous, and you enjoy your trip a whole lot more. Now we're in a town of Shearerville, it looks like. I'm in new territory for me. You folks may have been through here before, but I'm in new territory, so kind of interesting to see what I see. But I thought I'd shoot us a little video along the way. Got to get my video count up, I'd like to have at least 200 videos up by the time I go home. Yeah, and I'm a little bit short of that, so. One unique thing I did on this trip that I haven't done before, so that was kind of a new thing for me. When we drove up to Wisconsin, Madison the other day, my niece, I said, "Okay, you got to have some cheese curds." I said, "Some what?" She said, "Got to have some cheese curds in Wisconsin." And I said, "What is that?" Well, she took me to a little place called the Mouse House, and I bought 4 bags of cheese curds, and they were multiple flavors. Some just white cheese, some were one was called Cool Ranch. Boy, that was good. And one was called horseradish. I hadn't had the nerve to get into that one yet. I do love horseradish, however. And the fourth was, I forget what it was. It had dill in it and something else, but man, those things are good. If you haven't had cheese curds, these were not fried or anything. Later on, we had dinner up there, and they served fried cheese curds as appetizer. Those were good, but I tell you, I like the raw ones better. And seeing the Culver's back there a minute ago reminded me of that. They always have cheese curds on the menu, and I've never had the nerve to try them because I had no idea what they were. Might be trying them now in the future see how theirs are. But these were fresh and were really good. And they said, you know, you got to squeeze them. Make sure they're soft and pliable, or don't get them hard. So that's what I did. Actually, she got to pick them out for me. She's part. She's an amazing person. And, she just touched down a little bit ago in Las Vegas. Well, I went to Las Vegas. Now they're in Las Vegas. The GPS had told me I was going to get there at 5:20 this evening. I think this traffic is changing that. Be a little bit later than that. Don't have to be in no hurry. Between this state and Kentucky, when we go through Kentucky on the way home, we will have traveled through 21 states, 2 Canadian provinces, 1 Canadian territory. And I'm not sure how many miles, but I'll figure that up and do a final summary of the trip by the time I get home. For those who might be interested. Walked 10 capitals and 1 non-capital walk. And like I say, if you're curious about AVA, I recommend you go to the ava.org website and learn about American Boat Sport Association and what it's all about, who we are, how to find our walks, and maybe hopefully some of you will find it interesting enough to get involved. And I find walking is the ideal way to tour cities, towns, small and large alike. Most of the walks have historical, they have points of interest, sheets with them that tell you a little bit about what you're seeing and a little history of the town. And well, I thoroughly enjoy it. Highly recommend it. And then you can get involved in a local club and put on some walks. Maybe you can even lay out a walk. Well, it looks like we're clearing this town now. Maybe we'll get on out here and let the traffic thin out. Merrillville, Indiana. Looks like these little towns are just kind of one right after the other. You know, being from North Alabama, particularly rural North Alabama, our cities or towns are spread out a little bit. We have a lot of territory in between them. Up here seems like they have a lot of communities close to each other. I know over in Illinois, my little sister lived in probably 5 or 6 different towns over the years that she's been there, and probably not 35 miles in between them. All of the different houses. One way to advertise, put your advertisement up on the water tower. Alright, well, I'm going to pause this thing for a little bit. We're continuing basically to drive through town after town, fixing to go under or over Interstate 65, which is the way we used to come to Illinois in the old days from North Alabama. And until my little sister and my brother-in-law found a better way, go through Nashville and up out 24 and up 57. So we don't use the 65 route anymore. Although I'll probably be going back 65 on the way home, going through Louisville and unfortunately Indianapolis. Nobody likes to go through Indianapolis. Unless you live in Indianapolis, I guess. Don't mean to disparage any place. So anyway, I am going to put it on pause and try to pay a little more attention to my driving. And we'll be back in a little bit. Well, I thought I'd catch a little more video now. We are going through the town of Valparaiso, I believe that is, Valparaiso. Depending on how I pronounce it. Indiana. Nice town, good size. So I'm going to just grab a little video of it. They got a White Castle. Not my favorite hamburger joint, but I have eaten White Castles. They were, when we grew up, we had Crystal hamburgers. Very similar to White Castle. I think we had a White Castle actually in Huntsville at one time when we were kids, but we were more inclined to go to Crystal. In fact, liked them so much that I worked there. Went to work for them right out of high school. And actually it was during the summer between, I think, junior and senior year. Flipping burgers. They seem to refer to the place a lot as just Valpo instead of Valparaiso. Pretty place over there. Seen some really nice parks driving through these little towns. Seem to be very dedicated to having places for the kids, nice places for the kids to play. Didn't record it, but back there a little ways back was a really big, expansive water park. Looked very interesting. Not that I'm into water parks. My whole decrepit body wouldn't want to be out there visible in the in swim trunks. Of course, old does have its advantages, folks. The older you get, the less you really give a hoot what people think. When some of my people started getting a little bit older, and I guess one that comes to mind was my mother-in-law. And by the way, poor mother-in-laws, if you're a mother-in-law out there, y'all get a bad rap. I guarantee you. I have been blessed with a great mother-in-law. She was.
In a quarter mile, keep left to continue on US 30 East Northland Drive.
I would refer to her not only as my wife's mother, but as my friend. And so she was really a sweet person. And but as she got older, some of the things she'd say in a checkout line or something, I'd say, wow, if I said that, I couldn't get by with it. Well, after you get
Keep left to continue on US 30 East.
After you get in your late 70s, early 80s, get by with about anything.
Continue on US 30 East for 40 mile.
Oh. However, I try to be respectful of others. Airport over there to our left. The bugs don't seem too bad today. That's a nice thing. Me and my little sister got out and cleaned the truck good yesterday evening. She cleaned all the lights off for me, where the headlights would be a benefit to me instead of like they were just covered with bug juice. And cleaned the windshields and the windows down good, and looks like they've remained that way for the most part. I'm going to pause you again for a little bit. I'll pull in the pilot up here and pick up a little fuel and see if I can get some propane. There's a crop duster going through up there. We used to sit, my brother and I, hours and hours watching crop dusters when we were going up. Sorry about that. We used to love to watch crop dusters come down and swoop across the field, and put out their load, and circle around, come back, and just amazing. We kind of considered them daredevils. So we might come try to catch him coming through here if we can. He's way off in the distance. Don't think we can catch him. I was hoping to catch him as we came under his path. We used to love to watch him. Yep, there he went, right up there over us. Yeah, we missed him. Sorry about that. I don't have quite enough flexibility on my camera to see a shadow anyway. Unfortunately, they did not have propane. We'll have to find something further down. I checked my tanks, and one is empty and the other one is about half full. So it's one of the, and you know, for you folks out there who are truck campers, one of the things that I have noticed in looking at some of the truck campers is the quantity of the propane tanks. I decided early on that I did not want a single propane tank on my unit. When it's out, it's out. And I did not want to have to be running out and checking the thing every time I turned around. So I opted for one of the reasons I chose the 850, Lance 850, was because of dual propane tanks. When one's out, it's got a changeover regulator. It switches over to the other tank, and then you have an indicator that says, okay, I got to go fill up one tank, and I still have propane and heat, refrigerator, etc., while I'm out getting another propane tank. So I highly recommend dual tanks. I know the 650 only has a single tank, and some of the other units out there only have single tanks. So if you're looking at buying a truck camper, pay close attention to the quantity of the propane tanks. Otherwise, you may have to carry a spare tank full with you in some way, which certainly wouldn't advise putting it in the truck with you. And there's no room in the bed, so you'd have to take up some space with it. So anyway, my advice, for what it's worth, or as they used to say, my 2 cents worth. In my case, it's probably 1 cent worth, but that's my feelings, my opinion. So I've got to find propane. I've got about a half a tank. It should get me through the weekend, but since I'm going to be relying on it for the refrigerator, be doing most of my cooking by propane, because I don't have a generator that's strong enough to run my microwave. I'll have to do all my heating in the oven. So, watch it for propane. Pretty fields, lots of them. That's another thing about Indiana. It's right in there with Iowa and Illinois. Lots of nice big farms, lots of fields. Looks like both corn and beans here. Probably raise some wheat as well. Like this is Hannah, Indiana. Hannah, Indiana. Be an interesting place to live. Where you from? Hannah, Indiana. Like it. Kind of push y'all down into the dashboard there. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. That big boy just went right on through that light. Huh. Almost drugged me with him because I didn't see the light till he cleared it. Wow. He didn't even check up. I don't know about your part of the country, but in my part of the country, that's unfortunately a very common thing. People tend to want to run the red lights. I don't know why. Just too big a hurry, I guess. If I'm stopped at a red light and it turns green, I tend to wait just a few seconds. Make sure that there's nothing gonna come flying through there. I don't like the idea of getting broadsided. My wife did that one time. She was turning on a green arrow, making a left turn, legal turn. Somebody just plowed on through, young girl, smacked the side of her car, like killed her daddy and her mama both. Hurt my wife pretty bad. That way back many years ago. Hadn't been married long. Scary. I don't know if people just don't pay attention or just think they can beat it. Sad thing, it was right Christmas time and they were doing their Christmas shopping. So father-in-law and mother-in-law were crippled up. Well,